Let's get into the national championship game. So it will be it's in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I got make sure I got it
Did
right.
you see
Atlanta.
those ticket prices?
No, I haven't been in Atlanta in a couple years. I miss Atlanta, by the way.
I've never seen anything like that. And I've been to a couple natties, thank
I
by the grace of God, but goodness gracious. I
I
don't know how
miss Atlanta, Georgia.
cheapest seats to get in are like 2,400.
Good Lord. Oh my
Yeah,
God, that's
just to
crazy.
get in. That's
That
crazy.
them Kendrick Lamar tour prices, bro. Like what we
Yeah,
doing?
that's wild.
But yeah, Ohio State, Notre Dame. My brother's very hyped about this game because he's an Ohio State stan. And this nigga's had a good time. And you talk about everything they got to go over there. But I want to start with Notre Dame because they've had an incredible season getting to where they've got. Marcus Freeman has been great. So I kind of want to start with what you feel about these rumors about him potentially interviewing for the Chicago Bears job. The thing came out like I think the first news about it came out like early December. I thought it was just they're just trying to get an extension. Then he agreed to an extension. Now we don't know if he actually signed the thing yet because as we just found out, Bill Belichick ain't signed this contract yet. But we heard this morning on ESPN Radio Chicago. Shout out to Courtney Cronin. She says that it's more than just interest, and it would not surprise her if he's being interviewed at Hallis Hall sometime this week. So we got to wait and see that. I haven't seen Marcus Freeman's media day, so I don't know if he was asked about it. But Kyle, what's your opinion on not just everything he's accomplished this year, but do you think he'd be ready for the jump from the college football to NFL this early in his career?
Well, yeah, first of all, I want to give him his flowers, man. I think that what he did this season was incredible. And I think it's kind of like funny that Brian Kelly always talked about leaving Notre Dame because they didn't have the resources or the investment to make it to a national championship game. And then within 3 years of taking a job, Marcus Freeman has these guys playing in a national championship game after beating Georgia, after beating Penn State. So I want to give him credit for that first and foremost. I think he's done a fantastic job adapting with the recent changes of college football. He's done very well in the portal. If you look at the quarterbacks he's added over the last couple of years, like Sam Hartman last season, Riley Leonard this season, he went out and got a Jordan Clark to play safety for him, who's contributed for them well. And he's kept the talent there that has developed into the players they are, like Xavier Watts, Riley Mills, that's injured now, but Howard Cross, Jeremiah Love, those type of players he's been able to get and keep there. So I think he's done a fantastic job adapting to college football. Two, I think he would be a very cool candidate for an NFL job because I think he is the culture builder that the NFL requires. Everybody loves to, compare the next young black kid to Mike Tomlin, but I think he's the closest thing we'll see to a Mike Tomlin type figure. Young guy, NFL experience, has some chops already as a head coach, so he wouldn't be going in, head first, even though it's different building in the NFL. But he's been in there before. He's coached with the NFL before. He's played in the NFL before. He understands what culture is and how to build that. So I think as long as there's a decent infrastructure, which there is at a place like Chicago, you have your quarterback, you have some nice skill guys, and you have defensive pieces there in Chicago. I think that would be a very attractive hire for a place like Chicago, even though it may not be on the national radar. I know everybody's in love with Ben Johnson, but I think Marcus Freeman is a damn good candidate for an NFL job. And this will be the time to do it when he's at the peak of his power at college football.
Yeah, I definitely. It was something that I had to think about at first. First, I was like, I don't want no college coach. Then I thought about it more. I'm like, if people want bold, I think that this would be something that would actually work if that happened. So, but let's talk about the game. I feel like, from my perspective, this is. I don't want to say it's Ohio State's game to lose. I don't want to disrespect Notre Dame like that, but I do believe Ohio State is a favorite. Just the way they've been putting up points in this entire postseason. Their quarterback's been going crazy. And just Ryan Day has been kind of, you ask, depending on what Ohio State fan you ask, a lot of them have a lot of mixed opinions on Ryan Day. If you say, my brother wanted to have him murdered a couple weeks ago. Now he's just like, he's a good man, Savannah, which had me dying laughing. But there's a lot of fans have been really on the fence about Ryan Day. And this is, if he wins this to me makes him lifetime in Ohio State. How do you see this game? Who are you picking, and how you think this is going to go?
This is an interesting one for me because everything in my football brain is telling me to go Ohio State, right? It just, if we're looking at the eye test, if we're looking at what we've seen on the field, But man, I don't know. I have a weird feeling about Notre Dame. We didn't think they would beat Georgia. I know that the line ended up moving. It was pretty equal, or maybe Notre Dame was slightly ahead after the Beck news. But most people felt that Georgia would win that football game. Most people felt that Penn State was going to win that game last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. I think a lot of people are just realizing it's a team of destiny, right? Like, you talk about Ohio State, that's a team that was configured with a lot of NIL money, a lot of prowess. When we talk about 5 stars, 4 stars, what have you, they went out and got Chip Kelly. They went out and got Jim Knowles. That is a team that's supposed to be where they are if they play to their ability. I don't think anybody's surprised that Ohio State finally put it together and they're playing really good football with the more opportunities that they're presented. Notre Dame wasn't supposed to be here. And I'll throw another interesting stat out here. The Kelly Ford ratings, they've been doing this thing for 20, 30 years, has predicted the college football playoff model perfect so far. They're 10 out of 10 with their predictions based off of their model. And they have Notre Dame winning the game. So when I had that inclination, I don't know why. I'm not saying that Notre Dame will win, but I saw that stat and it kind of like confirmed what I was already feeling like, hey, this might be a little bit closer than people expect. I thought that was really cool. So based off of that model, they have predicted it perfect so far, and they have Notre Dame winning. And there is no explanation to me. I think they just play very solid special teams. They've dominated special teams battle in every game they played so far. Even when they have the turnovers, they respond very well. They don't let those turnovers come back and kill them. And they've done a fantastic job of making opportune turnovers themselves and forcing the ball to be turned over by the other team. So I think they have a chance in this ball game. I would not be surprised if they do win this football game. And in the same way, it can be said, I would be surprised if Ohio State win like 42-10. Either one can happen, but that's why they play the game. I think that's why people are going to be excited about this one. And just throw a little personal bias out there. Riley Leonard is from my hometown. He's a kid from Fairhope, Alabama, just like me. So he played with my little brother and those guys. So I'm rooting for the hometown kid outside of the analysis. I hope that Notre Dame gets it done. For one, for Marcus Freeman, I'm always going to root for the black coach, just being straight up. And then 2, the hometown kid, Riley Leonard, I would love to see him go out with a ring and bring one to the crib. So outside of the analysis, I'm rooting for those guys.
Courtney, what's your vibe on this game? You know, we know how you feel about both these teams, but how you see this one going? Was there be any outcome that would shock you in this game?
Yeah. I think I'm kind of with Kai. The more that I've sat down and thought about it, I think this game has the potential to be a lot closer than people think. I'm thinking back on some of the games that Notre Dame played this season, and some of the big differences have been on the defensive side of the ball. They lost a big defensive corner. Gosh, I'm losing his name. Starts with an M. Morrison. Maybe you can help me out, Kai. Morrison. Christian Gray has really come in and been fantastic. He had that pick 6 against USC. I believe he had another interception in that Penn State game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think if he can shut down Jeremiah Smith, this game could be a lot more interesting than maybe a lot more people think. I just hope that they can make some stops and they don't get blown out like Kai said, 42-10. I think if Notre Dame can hold them to 2-3 touchdowns, if they can hold them to under 21, I think Notre Dame can win this game.
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we code too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line.